Afternoon, y'all. Today I'm going to be talking about electronic warfare and the target individual and AI and mind control of the target individual and how this agenda is being put forth. I'm doing okay, by the way, and if you notice the lights flickering, for some reason it always does that when I do a video up here. So anyway, I'm going to start out with a psalm. It's Psalm 73:26. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Okay, and this is very interesting. I'm getting hit as we speak really hard. I noticed if I sit in one place, and don't move around, it gets a lot worse. But I will continue. Electronic warfare and the target individual. Electronic warfare is defined as any military action involving the use of electromagnetic and directed energy to control the electromagnetic spectrum to attack the enemy. The Navy calls this electromagnetic battle management. Who would that enemy combatant be? A person or persons that is seen as so seemingly dangerous or threatening to the power structure. That enemy would be you and I if you were TI watching this. For those unfamiliar with the term TI or target individuals, it is important to note there are different methodologies that the functionaries or agents apply to target individuals carried out by various government programs or agency initiatives. Is it always all the government? I don't believe so, but it just might be. Who knows? I know this stuff is readily accessible on the black market from what I'm hearing. And one thing before I go into this, I did a video on scalar waves. And from what I could hear and from what I've read, scalar waves do not show up on a radiation meter. I could be wrong. I could be reading misinformation, so don't quote me on that. But I've had some very good target individual friends of mine that said, yes, microwave weapons will, the weapons that burn you and stuff, scalar waves burn you and fry you without leaving marks, and they're undetectable by radiation detectors, from what I understand. Just some food for thought. Who would that enemy come? Okay, for those unfamiliar with the term TR, it's important to note there. All right, I didn't read that. So, this article discusses individuals targeted by remote neural monitoring, mind control, brain mapping, gang stalking, implants, voice-to-skull technology, which beam frequencies in the head, and nervous system manipulation 24 hours a day, which is what I'm experiencing right now. I'm just trying to ignore it and just try to, you know, just live like I would any day and try not to even let it bother my function. It's easier said than done, but that's what I'm trying to do. You notice the lights flickering. And this classified technology has been created by governments and military and used on its own citizens. Helpless citizens which have been victimized by billion-dollar funded technologies designed for quiet wars to create harm. What the powers that be are looking for is responses which they can track, measure, and log. This, in effect, is an omnipresent electromagnetic gulag in the privacy of your own home, workplace, or street. Funding for many experiments has been provided by the people doing this, particularly the Central Intelligence Agency and private corporations involved in military activities. These human research programs have been highly secretive, and in many cases, information about them was not released until many years after the studies had been performed. After incidents are exposed, the standing president is charted out to issue a counterfeit apology, as if apologies somehow make up for the destruction of our lives. Targeting can be done by radio frequency weapons, high-powered microwave technology, and acoustic technology. These are deliberately orchestrated attacks, and TIs will suffer from these assaults even when exposures to frequencies are reduced. Some TIs report that the constant barrage of electromagnetic radiation also bring with it multiple chemical sensitivity. Unethical human experimentation has been conducted on citizens for decades, and we have seen large swaths of the population being subjected to cruel and inhumane treatment, often the sick and vulnerable, economically depressed. One example of this unethical research was classified human radiation experiments conducted over 4,000 innocent American citizens during the Cold War. These and a number of other clandestine human experiments are discussed in this article. The human radiation experiments, how scientists secretly used U.S. citizens as guinea pigs during the Cold War. These elites have their warfare covered. Microwave targeting is one more assault on our individual personhood. Mutagenics, transgenics, epigenetics, endocrine disruptors, free radical, and radiation damage. When we now look at our world, we see the multi-pronged attack of the chemical spraying of our skies, genetically modified foodstuffs like fluoride, microwave targeting of peoples, Our bodies and brains may be accessed to harass, torment us in the New World Order and smart grid infrastructure. We, the people, are guinea pigs of technology and test subject for many experiments. Project Pandora is an early example of U.S. government microwave experiments on animals from 1965 to 1970, and they give the link to that right there. So it's not, I'm not reading what it's talking about, but they give the link to that right there. So look up microwave experiments on animals from 1965 to 1970. The use of hidden directives such as DoD Directive 5240.1-R Procedure 13, Human Experimentation for Intelligent Purposes, allows for testing and evaluation of any technology on any U.S. person, those foreign living on U.S. soil. This directive, not law, has been unethically and inhumane passed from agency to agency and contractor to contractor, resulting in torture testing on human beings. Anyone who is part of the new media, the truther movement, or a frontline activist will most likely have experienced some kind of targeting. The general population at large is almost subjected to microwave targeting. We have all been sprayed with microprocessors, microsensors, nanobots, smart dust from the chemical engineering of our skies and the manipulation of our weather. Nano is a Greek word which means dwarf. A nanometer is a billionth of a meter. This tech is so small it can fit inside a blood vessel. Our bodies and brains have no firewall against this nanotechnology. It's simply a matter of activating or turning on the program that has been implanted in our bodies with the use of frequencies or dues. We're all vulnerable to this type of attack. Some TIs have had implants showing up in various scans and x-rays. They're capable of transmitting voice signals, high voltage pulses, emitting large tracking beacon signal, or other unspecified uses. This technology, which is working inside us, is the program which allows the powers to be to have full scale access to our brains and our bodies to manipulate as they wish. This is New World Order system, artificial intelligence, smart grid, infrastructure, and Internet of Things. The engine the world is now running is derived on the premise of keeping the program intact, attempting to separate us from consciousness and severing our neural network. With the advent of 5G technology, microwave radiations increase using small millimeter wave, small cell deployment. This could mean wireless antennas on every lamppost, utility pole, home, and business throughout entire neighborhoods, towns, and cities. It does this by using a largely untapped bandwidth of millimeter wave mmW, which is between 30 gigahertz and 300 gigahertz, as well as some lower and mid-range frequencies. Gigahertz is a unit of frequency equal to 1 billion hertz. Humans oscillate at approximately 7.83 hertz, otherwise known as the Schumann resonance. Since our bodies resonate at very low hertz, they simply cannot handle the indentation of this microwave technology, a bodily inferno created by an unregulated, unapproved, lay it down everywhere attack. Moreover, with this updated 5G tech, it allows the program to be more activated in our bodies to take much more aggressive role because the AI feeds off these frequencies. The danger to the human brain and body from electromagnetic radiation are immeasurable. The scale is so large, Dr. Elizabeth Plord of the EMFfreedom.com says that we can liken this assault to being machine gunned. All of our cells are getting hosed and leaking. Our blood-brain barrier is getting hosed and leaking. Our gut is leaking. The artificial intelligence program, this is artificial intelligence mind control. The artificial intelligence program can and will induce anything it wishes. It can be a disease, emotional distress, brain targeting, genital targeting. Our moods and emotions are being manipulated and controlled through artificial intelligence and work in concert with these frequencies. Ask yourself when you feel lower vibrationary emotions of disgust, fear, anger, violence, and sexual thoughts, jealousy, etc. Are these my own emotions or implanted emotions through these frequencies and AI technology? The frequency hit will induce a physiological, emotional, physical response attacking brain waves. Unless people know about targeting individuals in the artificial intelligence program, they will not understand these invasions. The artificial intelligence is overriding us in our cellular matrix. The program can do virtually anything it wishes. Mind control is a frequent report from the target individual. Torture is also a frequent report from TIs. Many tactics and means are employed. There are a number of ways to target individuals: electronic telepathy, microwaves, electromagnetic, holography, lasers, radio frequency energy beams, satellites, and radar, to name some. Targeting the people in this manner using direct energy weapons will promise extreme distress and may lead to get them diagnosed as schizophrenic, so they'll be marginalized and maligned by friends and family in the community. And it talks about, no, this is the silent, encroaching warfare, dripping like a slow-running faucet. Many find it difficult to come to terms with the fact that it actually existed, and our governments would be criminal enough to use it against populations. The experimental warfare is done under the cloak of national security, which is always a cover for plausibility denied. Atlanta Freeland, author and researcher of the book Chemtrails, Heart, and the Full Spectrum Dominance of Planet Earth, has an in-depth knowledge on the subject of targeted individual. She personally knows a number of TIs and also ghostwrites for some. Freeland discusses in her very detailed essay Directed Energy Weapons for Political Control in Nexus Magazine the non-lethals you don't hear about, and says this. Then there are the EM weapons that are even less public because they are used covertly for political control and quiet war against populations, dissidents, and individuals displeasing to various powers that be. Examples include laser beams, free electron X-ray, neutral particle beam, chemical oxygen iodine, mid-infrared, advanced chemical laser, delivering blurred vision to holograms, ion beam plasma, and augmented reality mind control delivered by satellites that first track the charge via their bioenergetic signatures and then couples plasma with their EM fields, and of course non-aerial carriers that directly induce silent subliminal messages into the brain, often known as voice to skull or V2K or synthetic telepathy. In line with Cold War secrecy and deceit, thousands of non-consensual human subjects have been used for target practice of electromagnetic weapons. Freeland goes on to say, in homes and walls, offices around the nation, millimeter wave scanners are penetrating walls looking for target brains for microwaving transmissions to beam specific mood-inducing excitation potentials into. Other people in the room will be oblivious for the fact that excitation potential for suicide or murder is resetting the brain of the friend or relative for depression or rage. This technology may have been behind the suicides of political activist Abby Hoffman, singer Kurt Cobain, and journalist Gary Webb, etc., etc. U.S. patents also attest the capability that there is to target individuals with frequencies. And thanks to you, Clyde Lewis of Ground Zero, for this photo depicting on how voice to skull microwave is used. I can show you. It's a little difficult. Anyway, extremely low frequencies in microwaves can cause agitation in human beings, and these frequencies have been known to cause serious death and illness. Moreover, mind control through sound wave technology would be unthinkable non-lethal weapon, stealth warfare. Remember this, experimentation is to log, monitor, track, and assess an individual's response to electronic harassment. The Orwellian nightmare come to fruition. It's clear we have somebody that's puppeteering the psychotronic fantasy. In a book written by Zbigniew Brzezinski, co-founder of the Trilateral Commission, entitled Between Two Ages, America's Role in this Techatronic Era, published in 1970, he writes, speaking of a future at most decades away, an experimental intelligent control asserted, I foresee a time we shall have the means and therefore inevitably be the temptation to manipulate the behavior and intellectual function of all the people through environmental and biochemical manipulation of the brain. These elites and their minions have been marching to the beat of their Brave New World for decades. And I will go on tomorrow with something else. Like I said, I'm getting hit right now, so I can tell I'm not myself. But I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to go my day the best I can and be the person I am. Let's see. But I will continue with a video tomorrow. And it's important, though, man. We got to get the word out. And, I really, because, they put in my head all the time, well, it's defeated. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, I was taught never to give up, and I will never give up. So anyway, God bless y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the information I had to share. Share it with others. Get the word out. And I believe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I may be wrong, but I just will never give up hope. God bless y'all.